CTV News with Carlisle Fizette.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight in Ottawa with the first federal budget under Prime Minister Mark Carney. His finance minister outlined billions in cuts and savings today and what he called generational investment. Mike Lucatour reports.
Every Canadian should feel that there's something for them.
Borrowing the election campaign slogan, Mark Carney's government is hoping to build a strong country by stimulating the economy with billions in spending. Over the next 5 years, the Liberals are promising $141 billion in new measures, which the government plans to offset with $51.2 billion in savings. So how deep is the budget going into the red? Well, Canada's deficit for this fiscal year is $78.3 billion. It's projected to shrink slightly, hitting $56.6 billion in 4 years. The finance minister blamed part of it on the trade dispute with the U.S. and support measures for affected industries.
Well, I think Canadians would understand 75% of it is really the headwind that we have faced, but Canada is not unique in that. The world has faced it, and you see it with global growth, which has been readjusted lower.
But for the first time, operational and capital spending has been separated in this budget. The document shows the operational side will hit a surplus in 3 years. But some experts warn that change could lead to some creative accounting.
It is subject to a little bit of abuse. I would rather see a much narrower definition of capital investment than has been employed in this particular budget.
One of the biggest spends is $81.8 billion over 5 years on national defense, which will get Canada to its NATO commitment of 2%. Now, the government has also earmarked $51 billion over the next decade for new infrastructure projects in something called the Build Communities Strong Fund. There's $1.7 billion for a new strategy to attract international talent. And the Build Canada Homes program is getting $13 billion over 5 years, including $2.8 billion just for Indigenous housing. Still, the Conservatives and Bloc Québécois are already giving it a thumbs down.
On behalf of all the Canadians who can no longer afford to eat, heat, or house themselves because of Liberal inflation, we Conservatives cannot support this costly Liberal budget.
The Green Party and NDP aren't shutting the door yet.
There's positive and negatives in this budget, and we're going to take a comprehensive look and weigh it out in the aggregate.
Late today, Nova Scotia MP Chris D'Entremont announced he is crossing the floor from the Conservatives to the Liberals. In a statement, the Tories criticized D'Entremont for supporting their platform in April, but backing the Liberals just 7 months later. Either way, the government now needs only 2 more votes to pass its budget. Mike Lucatour, CTV News, Ottawa.
City councillors have temporarily paused construction of large-scale secondary units on residential properties until they determine the limit for how many bedrooms they can include.
We realize that adjustments need to be made. The original intent, I think we're still behind that.
The interim control bylaw is meant to prevent a rush of applications from developers looking to get ahead of that bedroom limit. Additional rental units are meant to be modest intensification within existing neighborhoods. A developer recently took advantage of those rules, though, getting a 32-bedroom property approved on what was previously a single-family lot.
I don't think this sends a negative message at all. We're still a city that is in need of housing and building as much housing as possible. What we've seen, though, is the intended gentle densification that we want in the neighborhoods is gone to the extreme in some very rare cases.
A majority of city councillors have approved a substantial pay hike for next term.
We have to make the tough call, and I'm willing to stand by my decisions. I do, having done the job, recognize the challenges.
I don't agree with the argument at all. That extra stipend, an extra wage, will actually bring in better talent.
Each one of you can justify to your constituents how you put in 40-plus hours a week in different ways.
The pay raise passed by a 3-vote margin, approving a 35% pay increase, setting a base pay at $94,000. The deputy mayor and budget chair will each earn $102,000 a year. However, council rejected a 4% boost for committee chairs and opposed severance pay for councillors who lose re-election. Full-time hours will be expected, but those cannot be enforced.
People who vote yesterday, you're going to get some nasty emails, right? But we make decisions around this council based on the information we get and trying to make the best possible decision with that.
Rotating postal worker strikes have landed in London this week. It's the latest union measure trying to pressure Canada Post officials to get back to the bargaining table. With more from the local picket lines, here's Jerry DeWan.
London and Coburg were two Ontario locations where workers were off the job Monday. Cup W hasn't said how long the stoppage will last. The union is also refusing to deliver flyers in many areas across the province. They continue to press the point that Canada needs a strong national postal service and can't rely on the private sector.
And don't tell me that UPS or Purelator or any of those companies go to the small areas. They only go to the small areas for a high cost. So we're still in the fight of our life.
Mark Platt is the union's national director for the Ontario region. He told those gathered on the picket line in front of the main London sorting station that discussions are underway this week that could result in resumed negotiations. Platt says the corporation wants to use only part-time workers on weekends, which the union opposes. They're looking for protections for full-time employees.
Canada Post has put out a narrative that we're against weekend delivery. The union is absolutely for weekend delivery, and all through negotiations in the last year, we support weekend delivery. We're trying to make the positions on weekends, some of them full-time. They want to have only exclusive part-time, 15-hour-a-week jobs on the weekends.
Platt also refutes the narrative that the union hasn't been willing to support a shift away from letter delivery.
Parcel revenues have outstripped letter mail revenues after 2016. So the union's been part of that change, and we've been working through that change with our letter carriers and our plants for almost 10 years now. So it's a false narrative that we don't get where letter mail is going.
Leaders with Cup W Local 566, which represents more than 800 London area workers, says they remain determined to get a contract with job protections.
Our struggle continues. We are fighting for a fair collective agreement for the last 2 years.
The Retail Council of Canada says the rotating strikes and intermittent flyer delivery create a volatility their members are finding difficult to navigate. Joseph says the goal is to get Canada Post back to the table with limited impact on customers.
We want the post office to run smoothly. We don't want to disturb the mail operations fully.
Analysts say Canada Post has lost more than $4 billion since 2018. The corporation received a $1 billion cash injection from the federal government earlier this year to keep operations afloat. The government has signaled that a significant restructuring is needed that may include an end to door-to-door mail delivery. Jerry DeWan, CTV News.
London police say a crash in East London sent one person to hospital this afternoon. The crash happened at Clark Road and Dundas around 2 p.m. with an SUV landing upside down. Police say one of the two people inside that vehicle were taken to hospital with minor injuries, and it's not clear what caused the crash at this point. They had also closed some nearby roads while the scene was cleaned up. Town councillors in Tillsonburg are considering a first-of-its-kind project in Ontario trying to attract doctors to their community. They've endorsed a feasibility study looking into a municipally operated medical clinic. Brian Bicknell reports.
My pills, I need them because there's no good.
Tillsonburg senior Mary Arthur suffers from debilitating arthritis, but without a family doctor, she can't get the medication she needs for the pain.
Pray to God. That's all I do.
Where did we go? We went to the walk-in clinic.
Yeah, we went everywhere.
You've gone to the walk-in clinic? But that's not a permanent solution, is it?
No.
According to the Ontario Medical Association, 2.5 million Ontarians don't have a family doctor.
There's people that are driving 2 hours to see their old doctors from their old towns or cities that they lived in, right?
Tillsonburg Council has passed a motion to investigate the feasibility of a municipally operated medical clinic. Under the proposal, the municipality would directly employ family physicians.
We, like everyone else, is short of physicians and primary care practitioners. We have doctors retiring, and so this would be a way for the town to get a revenue and cost neutral clinic for the municipality at no extra cost to taxpayers.
OMA President Dr. Zainab Abdurrahman says communities are becoming creative in trying to attract doctors, but someone always pays.
But I do worry that when we start to push more and more for these municipalities, or for them to feel so constrained that they have to provide, whether it's buildings or in some communities we're seeing large incentives, it really starts to pit communities against each other. And once there's competitions for healthcare, that means that there's both winners, but there's definitely losers.
That feasibility study comes back to council next spring, and if the idea does go ahead, it's believed it would be a first for Ontario. As for Mary Arthur, she's holding out hope for something or someone to help ease her pain.
What can I do? Nothing. I just wait and hope they're gone and hope they're still. I hope it's okay. I don't know.
Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
Organizers with the Coats for Kids campaign are appealing for donations ahead of the colder months. Hundreds of families are expected to come through the Boys and Girls Club. Nick Paparella has more on the much-needed support being offered.
These are all brand new.
They are setting things up to give to those in need. More than 300 families are expected to come through the doors of the Boys and Girls Club in London this coming Saturday morning, getting a helping hand from the annual Coats for Kids campaign.
Well, the need out there in the community is big, and not only for families who could maybe unfortunately not afford. So we need to consider that there's a lot of newcomer families. They do not know what to expect. You know, it sounds really cold when you say 0 degrees, -10, -20, but it's really hard to imagine when you have never experienced. So when we have the families here, we need to advise them, like, you know, you don't only need a sweater, you probably will need layers, and it's just great to have these families here and help them in that way.
6, 7. 7 each is small.
In all, more than 1,000 pieces of winter clothing have been collected, but the need is great because they are still short on coats for teens and boots for all ages. Nicole Pariseau has been a part of the campaign for more than 20 years, and she says everything goes to good use.
We hold some jackets back if they don't get all used up, so that when our kids come throughout the year, if something happens to their coats, they lose it, they rip them, etc., we have backups to give the families that can't afford to go out and buy another winter coat. And then we take some of the larger sizes that are left and we donate those to the Men's Mission and a couple of other places like Goodwill to help their coat drives.
And if you haven't had a chance to drop off your gently used winter clothing yet, you still have until this Friday to do so right here at the Boys and Girls Club on Horton Street, or you can make a monetary donation online.
If there's anything that that your children are not using, bring it over, because there's families that need your help, and we need to keep all of these young people warm during the winter.
Nick Paparella, CTV News.
Volunteers in Port Stanley are honoring local veterans with thousands of handmade poppies. With more on the message behind the project, here's Lauren Stallone.
In a charming beach town just south of London, this group of women sit and knit. Laughter and conversation fill the room, but their handmade creations tell stories of their own.
A lot of us have experience with vets, or we came from families. My family in particular came from Belgium, and my parents were children during the war.
With many in search of a way to honor and remember fallen soldiers, the Port Stanley Poppy Project came to life.
Just thought someone should do this, and then I also thought, well, maybe that someone should be me.
With more than 15,000 poppies covering the town, organizers say volunteers have dedicated months of their time. They say poppies just like this one take nearly a half an hour to make.
There's barely over 3,000 people in Port Stanley, and the 106 volunteers that worked diligently in creating all these poppies have made this vision come to fruition.
Started back in January of last year, organizers say they were blown away by the community's support.
The reaction and the response that we have seen within this community and beyond on what we have accomplished has been incredible. So it's just brought the whole community even closer.
So as the knitted and crocheted poppies sway gently in the wind, serving as a symbol of remembrance, the women sit and knit. Lauren Stallone, CTV News.
When we come back, following the money, the new questions over the province's Skills Development Fund and whether taxpayer dollars went to a company tied to a strip club. Canada's main stock index was down as technology and energy stocks fell. The TSX plunged almost 500 points. In New York, the Dow lost 251, the Nasdaq dropped 486. The Canadian dollar fell almost a fifth of a cent. On commodity markets, gold lost more than $50 an ounce. Oil is down almost 50 cents a barrel. Questions raised at Queen's Park today over the controversial Skills Development Fund and whether money that was supposed to be used for job training went to a company tied to a strip club. With more on that and what the records show, here's John Woodward.
Adult entertainment spaces / wedding venues? Can't make this up.
A surprising exchange in Ontario's legislature today based on a new report about this club and the province's controversial $2.5 billion skills development fund.
Did the Premier actually give $10 million of taxpayer money to the owners of a strip club?
The Minister of Labour.
No.
To get from government money to this club is going to take a couple steps, so bear with us.
The first, records show the Labour Ministry gave about $9.8 million in grants to a numbered company with the same director as an agency called the Social Equality and Inclusion Centre. That says it supports women re-entering the workforce and provides retraining to women who may need to enter a new line of work. That agency said it partnered with the Toronto Event Centre and Grand Bazaar, run by Zlatko Starkovsky. He's operated an event venue out of the Horticultural Building on Toronto's exhibition grounds for at least a decade. In September this year, Starkovsky opened up FYE Ultra Club, which describes itself on social media as a nightclub for those where discretion is a must. City staff licensed it as an adult entertainment club, a category often used for strip clubs. In a statement, Starkovsky said there are no strippers there, and no SDF funding has been used for any purpose related to FYE Ultra Club, including the training and compensation of any burlesque dancers, aerialists, or any performers involved in the new FYE Ultra Club project. While the Social Equality and Inclusion Centre says it has not been and is not involved in the new FYE Ultra Club pilot entertainment project in any training and financial capacity. All of this as Labour Minister David Piccini faces an Integrity Commissioner complaint over the Skills Development Fund, and he's facing his third week of resignation calls.
Every day we have more headlines. I don't understand. I have been asking myself why this Minister of Labour is still sitting in his seat and why the Premier hasn't fired him.
That is 100% absolutely false. Just dig into it, do your due diligence, and you'll find that. It may sound real, good theatrics for the Liberals, but it's absolutely false. We're training over 700,000 people. Our goal is to hit 1 million people and give them an opportunity that they might otherwise not have.
Hoping the critics of the fund will move on. John Woodward, CTV News.
Good evening. It was a beautiful day today, but increasing cloud cover overnight in advance of the next low pressure system. Thanks so much, Angie, for this photo of Gib. I can't get enough of these photos of all your pets dressed up. Keep them coming in. 8 to 9 degrees first thing in the morning on the mild side. There'll be some rain and Grey Bruce first thing, and the chance for showers across the rest of the region heading into Wednesday afternoon. I'll have your local forecast next.
Welcome back with Julie on the desk now, and we're at the point of the year where things are shifting in terms of the vocabulary in a forecast. We're starting to talk snow at least a little bit and starting to see some dashes on the 7-day forecast.
Yeah, lake effect snow, temperatures below freezing. The coldest air of the season arrives heading into early next week. Remembrance Day, it looks raw in terms of a daytime high, coming in the low single digits. It was beautiful today, Carlisle. We had lots of sunshine and we hit 13 degrees this afternoon, so coming in above normal. Last night it was 2 degrees. It'll be milder overnight in London, 6. Midwestern Ontario between 5 and 6 degrees, and milder along the lakeshore tonight at 8. High pressure has been in control today. It was such a lovely day, but we're starting to see that cloud cover move in an area of low pressure driving across the American Midwest and the Upper Plains. This low pressure area will continue to trek towards the Great Lakes overnight, with periods of rain moving through northern Ontario by tomorrow morning and in through the Bruce Peninsula and Grey and Bruce County. Your probability much higher higher than areas off to the south. Now, there is a chance for showers in Huron and Perth and Middlesex, London, Oxford, Elgin County as well as we head into the afternoon, although the coverage does not look to be widespread. But measurable rainfall towards the Bruce Peninsula and Georgian Bay. Watch in the afternoon, you can see some showers still around. So this is the cold front coming through. During the day, the winds will be out of the southwest, 20 with gusts of 40, and then the cold front moves through and you can see it. Watch the wind shift. And then we get that northwest flow off Lake Huron. That will generate some scattered showers downwind of Lake Huron in and around Huron County and parts of southern Bruce. That will spread towards Oxford, KW area, but that'll be a very isolated band. We are expecting some sunshine to move through the London, western Middlesex, Sarnia, Lambton, Elgin County early in the day Thursday, but some cloud cover lingering. This will be off lake cloud. So we should get into a fair amount of sunshine, though, by Thursday afternoon, right across the board. Temperature 13 degrees Wednesday afternoon. Winds will shift to the northwest, as I mentioned. The cold front comes through, and there's even the potential for a few thunderstorms as we head towards Grey and Bruce County. Perth County as well, you could see a thunderstorm tomorrow afternoon. Forecast for the next 7, we are on a major ride, so we're down to 9 degrees on Thursday for the high, so below normal. We are expecting a mix of sun and cloud to mainly sunny conditions in the afternoon. It'll just be a bit of lake effect cloud in the morning. And then a Friday, rain, 10 degrees. Saturday, mainly cloudy and 7. 5 degrees on Sunday. The next cold front comes through, and this one will be the big turning point. It will usher in the cold air. 1 degree on Monday, 2 on Tuesday. Remembrance Day is looking cold. Overnight lows drop down between -1 and -2 early next week. Midwestern Ontario, your forecast tomorrow, rain in Grey Bruce, chance of showers in through Huron and Perth. Mild to start your day with gusty winds out of the southwest. Will shift northwest by the evening. Temperatures drop off as we head into Thursday with a 40% chance of showers. The risk of a rain-snow mix on a Friday. And evening snowflakes expected to move in. Mainly cloudy Saturday and 5, 3 degrees on Sunday, and then a cold blast arriving early next week, which will lead to some snowfall, flakes of snow and lake effect snow. So that's what we're expecting to happen as those temperatures fall early next week. Definitely a bit of a turning point in the forecast. And as we roll into the weekend, you'll feel the first change coming our way. So break out the mitts, the coats. You're going to need them in the extended forecast.
Thanks very much, Julie. London's Sorry Comedy Fest kicks off tonight, featuring local acts and recognizable headliners.
There's nothing stopping London from being a comedy hub in the country and even the world, other than some effort on our part and really a focus to try to bring laughs and smiles more often to more people here.
The 5-day event is hosted at several intimate venues around the city, like local restaurants, plus larger centers like Aeolian and Centennial Halls. Beyond the stand-up, there's also newcomer competitions and roast battles.
Our goal is to grow this to be a national presence with the likes of Just for Laughs, Winnipeg Comedy Festival. Like, we have big aspirations. We're 4 times bigger this year than last year, and we're going to grow even more in the future.
A new production is about to launch at the Grand Theatre, bringing to life traditional puppetry. Here's a look at the marionettes taking the Auburn stage in this production of Wonderful Joe, on now until November 23rd.
Mister? Where did that dog get to?
This is Wonderful Joe. It's a one-man marionette show for adults, and it's the story of an old man, Joe Pickle, who's evicted from his longtime apartment on a city street because it's going to be torn down to make room for a condominium complex. So he and his old dog, Mister, decide to go on one last grand adventure.
Mister, always racing ahead.
It's a very hard-hitting show, but it's also very charming because Joe is a charming guy. For example, we go into a bar and Joe encounters Santa Claus, Jesus, and the Tooth Fairy, and to him they're real. So there's fantastic in the show, and then there's gritty reality all mixed together.
Oh, that's nice.
This show has been it's done a long run in Toronto, Edmonton, Vancouver long run, Los Angeles, Stanford. It played Lincoln Center in New York last year.
We're kind of blessed to have it here.
This is a great audience for me. This is, I think, my 4th time here, and it's always been a great time.
Welcome back. Finally tonight, Halloween is barely in the rearview mirror, and one Midwestern Ontario community is already getting in the Christmas spirit. With more on the preparations in Formosa for the annual Country Christmas event, here's Scott Miller.
It's a beautiful fall day, but folks in Formosa are already thinking about Christmas.
This is what we call Formosa Country Christmas in the little town of Formosa. We've been doing this for 5 years, a nonprofit organization, and this is fully volunteer. It's all what we do every year, first weekend in December.
A small army of volunteers will string more than 15,000 Christmas lights on hundreds of Christmas displays around Formosa for the town's Christmas extravaganza. The big attraction is the drive-through Christmas cavalcade through Formosa's Lions Park, complete with giant Santa, snowman, Christmas light tunnel, and even a spot for Santa himself.
The whole town, all the houses, everybody in town is jumped aboard, and they're all decorating their houses. Like, there's what we call dark spots. There's no dark spots in the town. Everybody's jumped right on.
It just keeps getting brighter and better every year.
While it might seem excessive to start setting up Christmas displays in early November, it takes that long to get things looking just right for Formosa's Country Christmas.
We start right after Thanksgiving. First day after Thanksgiving, the Tuesday after, we start, and first 2 days is pulling everything out. There's a lot of work the first 2 days, and then basically every day after, whenever you want to show up.
People come from all over southern Ontario to drive through Formosa's Christmas displays each December. It's by donation, but thousands of dollars has been raised in the 5 years the local committee has been running it. And the previous 20, the event was run by the Saugeen Valley Conservation Authority in nearby Hanover.
We do medical clinics, we've done food banks, we've done our own facilities here in town, the recreation complex. So the funding all stays locally.
Most of the displays are handmade and painted by the volunteers putting them up. Busby says it takes 7 weeks to put up all of the displays for Formosa's Country Christmas and 3 more days to take it all down again, but it's always been worth it.
It's for the enjoyment.
It's for everybody.
Right.
If we get something great, if you can't afford it, great. Go and have a look, see how it looks.
Formosa's Country Christmas runs from December 4th until the 7th. In Formosa, Scott Miller, CTV News.
And that's it for us. Thanks for watching. For all of us at CTV News London, I'm Carlisle Fazette. Have a good night.